isa sa mga pinakaabang natin tuwing Wednesday. Walang iba kundi si Miss Sheila Viesca. Siya po ay isang personal effectiveness coach and hindi lang yan, mga kasangbahay, isa din po siyang corporate communications guru. Good morning, Miss Sheila. Good morning.
Good morning, Liz. Hi, Tita. Hello there. Hello, Angel.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy to be
Okay.
here and happy wellness to all.
Very interesting, Miss Sheila. Good morning sa iyo yung topic natin. Parang ano to, nung una kong nabasa ito sa ating sa ating program, parang boxing yun na sa isip ko On the red corner, on the blue corner, 'di ba? Pero hindi hindi tropeyo ang kanilang pinaglalaban. Ano nga ba talaga ang pinaglalaban nito? At anong klaseng laro ba ito? What are we gonna talk about today? What kind of game?
Yeah. Okay, the blame game. At ano ang pinaglalaban? Ang kanya-kanyang version ng katotohanan.
Choose. I love it.
Playing the blame game, parang second nature na yan sa atin, Second nature na yan sa tao. Especially if if we have gotten used to playing the victim mentality. So, marami tayong kailangang i-take into consideration kasi blaming or the culture of blaming, directed lagi yan sa tatlong bagay. Sa sarili, unang-una, we're usually our worst enemy and our worst critic. Sa ibang tao, syempre, it's easier to point a finger. And then, sa pagkakataon, sa sitwasyon, madali rin i-blame yung situation kasi hindi naman magre-retaliate yan. Pero, in doing any of this, we fail to take on that responsibility and grow from the situation. Kaya, kahit sino dyan ang sisihin mo, ang maging object of blame, hindi magre-result into anything productive or meaningful.
Totoo.
Tama ka doon.
Paano po ba? Ano po ba yung mga dapat gawin, di ba? Kasi one way or another, we would experience a certain situation that would put you in a light of
Pointing
blaming
fingers,
others, no? And we're just humans and sometimes maisip mo na, kasi siya ganyan, di ba? So, ano po ba yung dapat gawin para maiwasan po natin yung paninisi sa ibang tao at, we own up na lang doon sa mga mistakes na nangyari at mag-move forward. Ma'am.
Those are great keywords, Angel, kasi it's really about, it's countered by us taking ownership of our life or of our life circumstances. Kasi nagbe-blame ka lang pag may mga negative situations, negative things that are happening, and you are not empowered. Kaya nagkakaroon ka ng tendency to project onto others or onto situations kung ano yung hindi mo kayang i-overcome or hindi mo kayang magampanan. So, if you had a choice, ang pwede mong gawin is really step back and evaluate your role in the situation. Ang mahirap dyan is mag-umpisa. Kasi it's our tendency to step back and not be accountable for what happened, not take responsibility. Lahat ng nangyayari sa atin, we are in the center of that. And once we consider it, tayo yung biggest solution to any problem that we're dealing with. So that's the first step. Kailangan i-reframe mo yung situation para makita mo yung mistake for what it is. And take advantage by accepting your personal responsibility. And in doing so, you keep that problem from recurring. Kasi pag hindi mo inindayan, hindi mo pinag-aralan, okay, it may not be a very big problem, pwede ka namang makausad, but you'll eventually go back to that. Keep going back to it. The same person, not informed, not experienced, and not evolved.
Napakaganda nun, Miss Sheila. Curious lang ako dito kasi tama yung sinabi ni Tita Angel na at least once in our lives, maybe even more, na hindi natin na-realize, nakasama tayo dito at naging kalahok tayo nitong blame game. Pero when it comes to this, how much is too much? And how do you know that when it needs to stop? Kasi minsan nagiging parang nagiging sistema na hindi lang sistema, nagiging lifestyle na.
Yes. Okay, the cue here or the litmus test is, are you using blame as as a defense mechanism para ba i-project mo sa ibang tao kung ano yung pwede mong gawin? Then definitely that is too much. Kasi involved ka pa rin yan, and subconsciously, what you're doing is preserving your self-righteousness when you know in the first place na may role ka sa situation na nangyari. So,
Exactly.
if this is a situation, consider that defense mechanisms are learned behavior. So, ang pinakakawawa niyan, yung mga hindi nagigising. If you find yourself starting to feel anxious and using your defense mechanism, blaming others, ganun pa rin, stop and take responsibility for what would really impact you and the situation in the bigger scheme of things. Tapos chances are, hindi naman sa lahat ng pagkakataon, nandyan yung solution. But at least, you can think more broadly kung ano yung mga options mo.
May follow-up question pala ako, if you don't mind, Ate Beren, do you think humility is the solution to, para ma-eradicate na ito, no? Hindi lang parang polio, para ma-eradicate na itong gantong, big word, no? Na Wednesday, syempre, oo. Do you think yung pagpapakumbaba, Miss Sheila, kung kayo yung tatanungin, will it, while it may not solve the problem, pero would it make the situation at least better for both parties?
For sure. Our attitude determines kasi kung gaano yung ikabubuti or ikalalala ng sitwasyon. So that's a truly wise point, Kikay. However, i-partner mo dyan yung clarity. Kasi the tendency to blame others is because we feel that we're losing control. But if we consider that hindi naman tayo kailangan mag-regain control to solve the problem. Kailangan lang, let's look for the solution and take charge of our life. Take charge of our feelings and, most importantly, our reactions. Kasi itong tendency to blame is a reaction to something. So, kung may isip mo yan, that our behavior can contribute to our emotions, definitely, when you practice humility, kindness, makakatulong, and then makaka-breathe ka. I think once you consider na yung ugali mo, yung mag-shape sa pagtingin mo sa bagay, at magpapalawak sa kaisipan mo kung ano pa yung kailangan gawin, dapat mangyari, then you will remember that you are actually in full control of your reactions. Mas marami kang pwedeng gawin kesa sa nangyayari sa'yo or nararamdaman mo.
Miss Sheila, sa corporate setting naman, for example, ikaw naman yung nasisisi. Hindi naman ikaw yung naninisi. Ikaw naman yung nasisisi. Pero yung naninisi sa'yo, ayaw mo din, kumbaga, meron kang ugali na hindi ka naman naninisi. So parang ayaw mo namang ibato yung, di ba, kunwari ikaw sinisi, tas alam mong hindi ikaw, pero ayaw mo namang ibaon yung tao na alam mong siya talaga yung may kasalanan. Will it help kung you say information but you won't drop names, tapos later on you'll talk to the person na, and alam ko naman ikaw talaga yung may kasalanan, pero hindi mo inamin. Will it help? Or mas okay na harapan kayo kasi harap niyo yung boss niyo, sasabihin niyo na hindi po talaga ako yung may kasalanan, ito po talagang tao na to. Ano yung mas magandang approach doon, Miss Sheila?
That's another strong point, Beth, kasi it actually happens. Ano ba yung pwede natin gawin kung iba talaga yung may kasalanan? So, isipin muna natin, ano yung nasaktan sa ego mo? Kasi when you are in that tough situation, the tendency is to protect our fragile ego. Kailangan, sasalubungin mo, you have to meet the situation with a high level of self-esteem. Para during the discussion, you can go a step deeper towards exploring the solution to the problem. Kesa i-blame mo yung tao na alam mo na may kasalanan, everybody knows, is the one at fault. Or yung situation. So, you have a personality in the story. Yan ang tatandaan mo pag involved ka. So, there's really no need to put other people down or to agitate yourself by by pointing to the situation, being helpless. Ikaw, ano yung pwede mong gawin? Now, of course, when you have that clarity, you will end up developing your self-worth. And when you handle yourself, you will do it responsibly. Kahit yung communication sense mo, you would know how to use positive scripting, you would know how to be action-driven, hindi ka masyadong mag-layout ng sobrang detalye na lagi namang TMI, hindi naman kailangan. And definitely, you will be able to practice kindness and humility in your interaction. So, kung ano man yung kailangan mong ibulalas during that situation, you have to, you will be reflective. Hindi mo aatakihin yung tao or yung situation. Yeah, but it's definitely
Siguro-
it definitely pays to be objective, Beth. Na kailangan we have to call a spade a spade. Kung sino yung may kasalanan, di ba? Has to be made accountable. Hindi natin issue sugarcoat.
Yun.
Accountability.
Siguro in connection lang din dun sa question ni Ate Beth and Miss Sheila. Kasi, like say for example, if you're a leader of an organization or of a team, diba, the buck stops with you all the time. Diba? If anything happens, the buck stops with you if you're a leader. But yun nga, masabi nila, mas okay, self-blaming, you own your responsibility. But how would you know on what will you do as a leader para others would learn also from that situation, diba? How do you draw the line between self-blaming and blaming others so that others would also learn from the situation?
Okay. How will you draw the line? Ang goal mo dapat, Angel, is to give clarity to the situation. Although ang tendency kasi nagkakaroon ng blame game because we want to explain the situation. But in doing so, ang nangyayari, humahanap tayo ng solusyon and it usually leads to someone being the guilty party. So pag nagkataon ng ganun, wala nang line kasi nagkakaroon na ng mga snap judgments and the tendency for people to deny responsibility. I guess what we can do in those situations is to accept the fact that some events are out of our control. So i-lay out na natin yan. And you don't need the explanation ready all the time to tell people na, oh, ito yung nangyari, ito yung kailangan natin gawin. So, listening to their point of view, kasi isang magandang pananaw dito is there will always be three sides to the story. Your version, the other person's version, and the truth. And the truth will always be shaded by our biases. So, kung ano man yung kailangang i-discuss, then we have to be competent communicators para magkaroon tayo ng pagkakataong magtanong kesa mag-dictate tayo ng mga opinion natin. So, I guess when it comes to drawing the line, it's cliched man, no? Talagang case-to-case basis eh. Pero hindi masusolusyonan to kung hindi natin pag-uusapan. And sa pag-uusap natin, we really have to be the one looking at the big picture, stepping out of the box para hindi tayo masyadong limited sa mga articulation natin at pagbubulalas ng ating mga perspectives and feelings.
Miss Sheila, meron lang sana akong gustong idagdag when it comes to the blame game. Should we see the people, they commit mistakes and not their mistakes, define them? Hindi ko alam kung may sense ba yun na in English ko, no? Pero kasi minsan, there are people na hulit yung mga pagkakamali mo, define who you are. Na alam mo yun, na parang wala ka lang nagawang tama. Like, alam mo yun, parang this has got to stop. You know? Parang it's so toxic. It doesn't only ruin relationships, it breaks people na how toxic it is. Na do you think dapat yun yung dapat nating pairalin tsaka communication instead of, putting barriers? Na instead of actually facing the issue, parang you're stepping back? What are you afraid of, man?
Yeah. Actually, totoong-totoo yan, Kikaya. Kasi we often feel this unrealistic demand for perfection. Kaya tayo nga nagbe-blame eh. Di ba? Kailangan ganito yung nangyari, dapat ganito yung ginawa mo. And when you play the blame game, you're losing out on that opportunity for personal development para sa'yo and whoever is involved. So, consider na natin, blaming is an act of defense. And if you're constantly defending yourself, hindi mo talaga makikita yung kagandahan ng ibang tao. Even their points of view na pwede mo namang paghugutan din ang mga lesson. May makikita kang angulo talaga dun eh, na makakapagpaunlad ng pagkatao mo. But if you're defensive, syempre, i-justify mo lang kung ano yung nararamdaman mo in reaction to whatever it is you're saying, valid or not. So, by resorting in blame game, hindi natin in-open up yung sarili natin kung ano pa yung makukuha natin sa sitwasyon at matututunan natin sa ibang tao. We miss out on that opportunity to grow, to learn, and connect. So, wala talagang nananalo. May nananalo pala. Yung mga spectators, yung mga nanonood.
Yung mga nakaka-enjoy sila. Diba?
Nag-enjoy.
Totoo. Saka
Whoever is not
nakakapagod,
involved
Miss
in the
Sheila.
story.
Diba,
That you have to
parang
defend yourself.
nakaka-drain ng utak.
Feeling, no?
Diba?
Ng emotion.
Takes time and energy when you blame others. Parang, kaya nga sabi nga nila, kung bawa, sa sitwasyon na sabi mong, hindi ako masaya, bad mood ako, dahil dito sa ganito, inano mo na, binlame mo na sa isang tao yung kasiyahan mo, diba? So talagang, tsaka siguro, Miss Sheila, yung mentality na you always think about yourself, that you're always right. Siguro yun din yung nagiging
That
big
you're always
factor ng
on top.
blaming others. So kailangan, sakli lang, relax lang.
Chill.
Communication lang, no? Baka nagkakamalabuan kayo dyan, no?
Oo.
So, maganda na pag-usapan natin, Angel, Beth, Kika, yung ano yung pwede natin gawin, diba? Ngayon, yung isang there's a chance na you're being blamed for someone else's faults or mistakes. Baka naman nandyan ka, trapped ka in a blame game because of toxic personalities in your life. Kasi kahit anong clarity ng thinking mo, you will not only be drained, but you will gravitate towards that habitual tendency to blame others. So, kailangan din kilalanin natin who are the players in the blame game. O, tanong ko muna sa inyo, nagkaroon na ba kayo ng encounter sa mga interesting personalities na to? Kasi it's very easy to get drawn into their orbit. Parang sila na lang yung iniikutan mo. Alam nila kung paano gagawing sila ang center ng situation or story. And you are just one of those minor stars, little stars, na kumukumpleto sa kanila. Yung unang-una dito, kilala natin yung mga eternal victim.
Totoo.
Minsan masarap i-feed yung ego ng mga yan, ni Sheila. Alam mo yun na, okay, ikaw magaling, okay. Minsan masarap i-feed yung ego, tapos at the back of your mind, you're laughing. Kasi alam mo naman yung personality nitong tao na to. Alam mo yun, basta lang when you learn to let go of things na you don't take everything personal. Alam mo yun na parang okay, magaling ka. Alright, ikaw tama. Okay, bye.
Oo naman.
Ganun na lang, 'di ba? Parang sige, happy ka diyan eh. Go.
That's a good counter, Beth, ha? Kasi, the language of the victims seem harmless in the beginning. Hindi sila nagle-let go eh. They always blame others and they have this inability to move forward. Kaya pag sineryoso mo sila, you will be stuck in the rut. Tapos, partner na kayo. Diba? You're in that same situation kasi meron kayong mga discussions, puro sub-stories, mga angry outbursts, mga sufferings in childhood. Pag sila may kasalanan, sila kasi yung na-victimize. It's unfortunate na sila yung kinawawa. And you see that it's a game that naturally comes when you are in a discussion with the victim, with the eternal victim.
Vicious cycle, Miss Sheila eh.
Vicious cycle.
And these people are so full of themselves eh. Diba?
Pero din ako gustong i-dive, no? na, what's this? I think you both have to accept that both parties, you are both victims. Kasi di ba, na you react the way on how you were treated and vice versa. I guess it's also, kailangan talagang mag-usap kayo because it has got to stop.
Yeah.
Naku, grabe naman tong Wellness Wednesday na to. Ano ba yan?
Siguro,
Pero may isa.
Sige, go ahead.
Yes, Angel, I was just going to add to what Kikay said, no? Totoo yun, kailangan mag-usap. Pero what if you're dealing with this most toxic manipulator or one of the most toxic among the manipulators, yung narcissist? Kahit anong usap mo yan, they can make you believe what their reality is. Kasi kailangan maiparamdam niya sa'yo yung depth of your inferiority para makonvince ka nila. So they are very dangerous and unhealthy people to be around.
Goodbye na pag ganyan.
Low self-esteem kasi they will always prove to you that you are less than who you actually are.
Ayun.
Sobrang ganda ng topic natin,
Oo.
Sayang.
Sabi
Sabi
ko
ko yan, sana yung sa family naman na to. It happens also in the family, pero we don't have that much time.
Totoo. Pero ang sabihin ko lang, one big relevant issue na makikita natin na we are in a blame game, itong pandemic na to. Because sabihin ng government, hindi kasi kayo sumusunod kaya tumataas yung kaso. Tapos sabihin ng tao, pangit kasi yung policy ninyo kaya nagtumataas yung kaso. Siguro meet halfway, sumunod ka, ayusin mo yung policy, then we come up with better solution.
Tama.
Thank
Correct.
you so much, Michelle.
Susunod ka muna.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you so much.
Talk shop.
Yes, and thank you very much, everyone. Yeah, they can check out the courses we're offering at Talk Shop on www.talkshop.ph, and they can sign up for our communication courses, leadership training, personal effectiveness programs for individuals and companies. Of course, all programs are values-driven, so it's advisable for parents and guardians to start enrolling their kids this summer. And then for executives who want to level up their competency and communication leadership sense, they can get in touch with us at 0917-894-5588, 0917-877-5588. Reach us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram at Talkshop Consultancy or Sheila Viesca.
Thank you so much, Miss Sheila. Talaga naman. Ibang klase talaga ang ating
Thank you so much.
Wednesdays, no?
It's always
Alam mo, ang
enjoyable
ganda
to be
ng
with you.
About.
Ang ganda ng topic natin. Ikaw kasi si Sheila Ikaw kasi lagi ka na lang.
Oo.
Kung pwede sana isang buong
oras,
ano,
no?
di ba? 3 oras.
Napaiyak mo na naman si Eric Conrado.
Ay, nako.
Oo.
Para meron na namang
But
mga
again-
team song dito sa ano ko, sa isip ko, ha?
Thank you, ladies, for this opportunity to help everyone on this Wednesday morning learn to admit their role in the situation, put everything in perspective, take control of their life, and take responsibility for their action. So,
And be
yan
happy.
ang, yan ang
Thank you,
mga
it's our pleasure,
highlight.
Miss
Thank you
Sheila.
so much, Miss Sheila.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Always
Good
lovely to
morning
see you,
sa'yo.
ladies.
Bye!
Next time ulit, abangan natin yung ating mga discussions ha with Miss Sheila.